Hello and welcome back to the shop. Today we are going to take a look at a Klein Tools impact driver hex set. Now this is interesting because it includes a bunch of tips for use with a hex, quarter-inch hex, as well as some 3/8 sockets. So let's get into this thing and see how it looks. On the back here, the sockets that we have are 1/4 through 9/16. We have 0 through 3 Phillips, 3/16 through 5/16 straight, number 1 through number 3 Robertson, number 2 and number 1 combination, T10 through T40 TORX, and 3/32 through 1/4 and 2mm through 5mm Allen, and a 3/8 drive. Looking at the back here, they kind of show a little bit more about it. And if you are interested, it is made in Taiwan. Okay, so getting down into her here. We can see it comes with a screwdriver handle that when you squeeze the release chuck, the hex comes out. Now, the hex is just a magnet. I will say it retains pretty well. It's a pretty strong magnet, but it is not holding, which we saw with some other stuff. This is a nice screwdriver handle. It has your 1/4 hex chuck, which you can use with other tools, like this 3/8 square drive, so you can basically turn this into a nut driver. Here's your 9/16 option. And you can use this with a impact gun, like this. Get that on there. We could also use this with the impact gun. That's the beauty of this setup. This handle is a great way to go because you can use that handle with multiple things and it's all interchangeable with the impact gun. So taking a look here, this is a Phillips number 2, and there's no spot for a Phillips number 2 in the index here. It goes P0 to P3 and P1. So if you took the P2 out, you would have to put it into another spot, whatever. I think they figure that is the one you're going to use the most, which I would think for most people that very well may be accurate. Let's take a look here at some of these tips. They're actually pretty nice the way they're made. They have the relief in them for the holding style 1/4 chucks. I think it's unfortunate that this is not a holding style chuck. I'm always very reluctant in the field to use magnetic only holders because it's so easy to leave a tip behind in the workpiece, and you really don't want to be doing that. I would say the socket attachment is a little bit of an exception. While it's annoying, the sockets are bigger and a little bit more obvious that you left it behind. But since we're on the sockets, let's take a look at the socket. And this is a really nicely made impact socket. And that's something that they're going for with everything in these Connect kits. Everything is impact rated, which I think is really smart. If I was talking to a young guy getting into the trade, I would tell them to buy just impact sockets off the bat, to not even buy your normal chromed sockets for hand tool use and whatever, because if you buy a set of impact sockets, you can use them with your hand tools or you can put them on an impact. So I think buy once, cry once type thing. Buy impact sockets if you don't have anything, and you'll have the most versatility out of what you buy. let's get out the 7/16. You can see the 7/16 shoulder is shouldered down there a little bit thinner at the tip. These aren't bad sockets. They do not have a super long throat. You can see in there, it's down there a ways, but it's not super far down. The 1/4 inch is not a magnetic holder. It passes straight through, as you can see there. So this is only a 1/4 inch holder. You can put these in it and they'll work, but they will also fall right out. So the neat thing about this Connect stuff is it's very backward compatible. So here's the handle from this set that came with the sockets, and you can use this handle with these sockets just like you can use this handle with the 3/8 driver. And more interestingly, this 3/8 driver can be used with the large sockets from the 3/8 socket set. And we talked about in those videos how this is the 3/8 driver that we used from another kit to drive these. This is the kit that came out of. So the MODbox or Connect stuff all has versatility, and it's all, you're able to take pieces from one thing and put it into another and get further usage out of your tools. So you can see this handle is slightly smaller than the other. It's very much the same, but it's just a smaller handle. It has the same mechanism inside of it. So I thought that was kind of an interesting choice, that they actually went a little bit smaller to get essentially the same thing. You'd think they'd have one part number that they would use for everything. But because this is a hex drive, you could use this with the deep sockets, the shallow sockets, whatever you want to use it with. Here is the deep socket driver, and you can make it shorter. That's how this works. You can stick the handle into it. Is that the difference? That is the difference. So here's the difference between these two. This one, you cannot drive the handle into, or the holder into the handle, whereas this one, you can drive the handle or the holder into the handle and have just a socket or two sockets on that stem and still have the same usage out of the tool. And of course the reverse is true. You can take this and stick it in this handle, but you cannot shove it up into the handle like you can with this tool. So I guess that makes sense. There's a difference there between them. But overall, you can kind of see the versatility between all of the different pieces of the Connect system. And of course, the 3/8 ratchet that comes with the 3/8 set, the sockets go right on that with no adapter whatsoever. So if you wanted shallow 3/8 sockets to go with the 3/8 set, I think this is probably the most logical kit to get to supplement that set, because you get both the hex driver to drive the larger deep sockets in the 3/8 set, and you get the 3/8 sockets that you can drive directly with the ratchet of the 3/8 set. So if you have this 3/8 set, I do believe a logical additional set to get is actually this one, because you get the driver for the larger sockets, and you actually get sockets that you can just use with the ratchet itself. You also get a handle then that you can use to drive these sockets, and you'll have a handle that you can use to drive these. So I think these two sets complement each other very well, and that might be the direction that they're going with these, is kind of build the tool set as you need it and buy the stuff that fits your needs the best. Kind of a neat approach to selling tools and having as much versatility as possible in a smaller package. Now, something I haven't talked about on any of these videos is how these K'NEX boxes go together. They have little pins that stick out here, and they have this foot right here. And what you would be able to do is put that there, or you could put another one back here, because this is a bigger box. So it's kind of an ingenious little way. There's a locking tab right here that you press to release. So let me lock that on there, and you can see I push this tab, it comes right off. So you can nest these boxes together however you need to get them on top of each other and get as much out of it as possible. Kind of neat. I think something like this screwdriver set I would probably definitely leave in this case because of all these small tips. That being said, I definitely understand the concern some guys might have with all of these boxes taking up a lot of space in their gear. You can do it however works best for you. That's the beauty of it. They give you a case that's reasonably well laid out. I don't think there's any major problems with any of this. You can see it's got plastic shaped to hold tools into the case. That it does a good job with that. Nothing really moves around in these. But if the case doesn't work out for you, you don't have to use it. It comes with it, but you can opt not to use it. And that's the beauty of the whole system. It's very modular. It's very able to add on to, take away from. The boxes are nice. They're relatively robust. They do transfer dirt relatively easily. That's one thing I can say. They do also have some measuring devices on the bottom. You can see here the other larger one, if that is something that would help you. But overall, I think these are a really neat system, and we'll continue to go through different models as we get them. Let me know in the comments below, did you get this set? Have you used it extensively? Is there any quirkiness? Does this magnetic holder only get on your nerves? Do you find you're leaving tips behind? Have you broken any tips? One of the tips that suffers the most is that flathead tip right there. They're so easy to break a lot of times and twist. That's just kind of a weak one, I find, from experience over the years. They have Robertson in here, they have TORX, there's a little bit of everything in here to get you through a fair amount. No security tips in here though, so there is that. A lot of stuff is now going to security. I don't know why. It's just a hole drilled into it. You can buy the tips like any other tips. I don't know why it's security, but let me know in the comments below if you've used this, if you've had good luck with it, if you found it frustrating, if you broke anything, what you liked, what you didn't like. Did you find this was very valuable to use with your other sets? What other components in here have you really enjoyed using with your other sets? I'm finding this whole thing kind of interesting and hearing how other people use this stuff. So let me know in the comments below. As always, thanks for watching and have a great day.